Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Marcus from MOTIV8 UNPLUGGed, and we are back again.
Hey, guys.
And we decided to switch it up this week. We decided to add some more team members in. We wanted you guys to know that it's not just us four that are usually on here. There are more of us in MOTIV8. So we're going to introduce the two new people on the team. Shout out to AJ. Say what's up.
What's up? What's up?
And we're also going to say what's up to Nate. Say what's up.
What it do? What it do?
Okay. So we decided to do something a little bit different in this conversation. We've done dating, married while saved. We've done leading together while young. And we decided to hop into the conversation of dating while saved. Because our age group, we're not all just automatically getting married. There are people in our age group who are dating at the moment and trying to stay saved. So, how long you guys been dating?
We've been dating going on 2 years now. Yeah.
Almost 2 years. It'll be 2 years in September? October?
Sure.
Yes. One of those two, September or October.
See, I'm not going to do the crazy asking you questions on the spot because I'm not trying to get you obliterated in the comments.
Yeah.
He doesn't know, girl. You need to know. We ain't going to do all that.
It's okay because I don't know either.
Yeah.
I was going to say,
look,
she said September or October, somewhere around there.
So why is it September or October?
Because we did split for a month. So originally it was September, but if you take out that month, it would probably be October because,
So I ain't trying to be in y'all's business, but I'm going to be in y'all's business.
Go ahead.
So
It's
dating
free.
while saved, what are some of the struggles that you end up going through that would cause you to take a break or call it quits, those type of things?
Personally, when it comes to serious relationships at our age, a lot of people don't find them serious. It's very rare that you marry your high school sweetheart and stuff like that.
Agreed.
So when it comes to, he was in his senior year when we got together and I was a junior. And so when it comes to a serious relationship, it's always puppy love. Oh, you guys are so cute. You guys are so cute.
Definitely.
Y'all are cute. And that's about it.
And that's all.
But no one really offers real relationship advice. That's because we're not in our 20s. So we didn't know how to handle a lot of the things that were happening. We had started this relationship and we were about 7 months, and we were almost a year in. And stuff started happening. We started having friends who weren't agreeing with our relationship. We had everybody had their input, basically.
Yeah.
Friends, leaders, parents, stuff like that. And then, we started packing our schedules. So he was in the Easter play. I was doing all this in school. We both were worship leaders for our youth group. So it's how did we looked up basically one day and was like, ooh, I haven't seen him outside of church in 3 months. And so we was like, okay. And then I had to kind of put my foot up his butt outside the church.
Oh, yikes.
we had a
So would you
fallout.
say that while being saved and serving in ministry, do you believe that serving in ministry together can put a strain on your relationship?
Absolutely. If you don't know how to handle
If you
it
do
and if
not
you don't
know
know
how
how
to
to
do it
pack
right.
your schedule right. Because, just for me personally, I've always been the go, go, go. That's why during this whole quarantine thing, I'm going crazy. I'm really trying to hold it together right now. I'm really trying to hold
Day
it together.
57.
Hey, video coming out later.
Oh,
But
little
it's
vlogs.
just, for me, I've always been the go, go, go type. Do this. Okay, when I'm done with that, go here. Go and try and do worship lead in there, act there, do schoolwork. And on top of that, I was a senior too. So I was trying to have my little senior get-togethers. And then I didn't even do prom because my schedule was already so packed. And for me, honestly, to keep it real, because that's what we do here, this was my really first real man to woman relationship. No, not like that. All right. But it was my first real relationship.
Come on here, Deliverance.
I know, at least within the first few months, it was really me trying to understand the do's and the don'ts type of deal. The certain friend groups you should hang around, certain attention you should give to other people, really making way and making sure that I give the relationship the attention that I need to give or do my part, And I honestly, I just really wasn't doing that towards the end because I got lost. I got lost in it.
I remember we were walking in the hallway and we were doing one of our little playful banters or whatever. And because I was his first real relationship, he doesn't know how to be gentle with a female. And he pushed me. I was like, Nate, cool out, bro. I almost flew into the lockers. I was like, dog.
No, you did. The lockers made the bang sound. The people in the hallway, they said.
I was looking at him like, dog, cool out. But like, I didn't notice. I didn't really notice until then. And my mom, we were out to eat with my mom. And she was like, Nate, you are pretty rough. Because we had gotten to another playful banter. And I was looking at him like, dog, cool out. And my mom was like, but AJ, you have to take into, like, you have to count the fact that you are his first real girlfriend. Like, of course, he's had other girls, but, like, you were his first, like, that he actually cares about, that he genuinely wants.
That I took seriously.
Yeah.
And
so me being the first, like, he doesn't know how to, sensitize and coddle. I remember the first time I cried in front of him, like really cried, like in front of him to him. He was looking at me like a deer in headlights, and he was like,
"What do I do?"
I give you the look.
So, like,
okay?
I was like, what do I do?
We're outside a Cracker Barrel, and we're sitting on one of the benches, and he's like,
she goes, can I talk to you for a minute? I said, okay. And then my grandma was right across from the table. So I said, yeah, come on. We go outside. It was
an ugly cry too. It was rough because
okay.
At that time, it was March. It was March last year, actually. My old pastor had died. He was like my granddad. And then we were also in Lynchburg on a college trip, and I was like, wait.
She did not like the thought of me going to college.
He's about to be 5 hours away. I'm still being in high school.
At all.
So I was feeling all the feels. I'm grieving. I literally left from after the funeral ended to go meet up with him so that we could go head up to Lynchburg, do the college trip. And so I am just head over heat, like it's above my head. And I'm like, who gonna stay? Who gonna do it? And so it was one of those moments. And he's looking at me like, she crying.
But I think I did pretty well for the first time like that.
You survived, son. You survived.
I survived.
Now I don't cry in front of him.
So
he makes
how
fun of
did
me.
you all get to become, a couple? Like, how did that all play out?
Oh, how do you see what you see today before us?
Yes, Nate.
The first round or the first round or the first half or second half?
Oh,
I think we've already deemed that the first half was
like
just not a good
it's like a Marvel.
It was rocky. It was. Don't get me wrong. That second half it started off rough too. Like
it was not that bad
for you. You.
Ooh.
Well, how'd the first half start?
Do you wanna? Are you thinking, or should I take this one?
The first half. Actually, there wasn't even supposed to be a first half. I was just really trying to come at her as a friend. I was like, you know what? You seem pretty funny. Let's be friends. And it wasn't even trying to be like, yeah, let's be friends.
Before this happened, he had been trying to be my friend for like probably since maybe my freshman, sophomore year. I'm a senior now, so like maybe 2-3 years ago. He was trying to be my friend. But I didn't like his friend group. He didn't like my friend group. And the assumption is you are who you hang around.
Mm-hmm.
And so I looked at his friend group and I was like, absolutely not. And he looked at my friend group and he was like, absolutely not. So for the first 3 years, we just, kind of dibble-dabbled with the friendship. I was like, you're cool. And then I would drop off the face of the earth for a couple months, come back, text him, hey, friend, like,
Ghost mode.
drop out again.
Dang.
But it really wasn't supposed to be meant to be anything more than a friendship. And then last year, 2018, because technically we started in 2018. I played AAU basketball with this girl, and him and this girl, he had a crush on her or whatever, and we were friends. We had just started our friendship, so he was like, "Hey, put me on with her." I was like, "Okay."
Well, yes.
I was like, and me being me, I was just like, okay, like, because I didn't feel a way. Like, he was funny, he was cool, we had nice conversations, But I was like, he's still struggling to get me to text back, so I was like, okay, so
When I tell you, I'm like, hey, 3 days later, oh, what's up? And acting like nothing happened.
I would end the conversation and I would tell him that like I went to sleep, but I texted back like 3 days later.
Dang.
It's fine.
That's vicious.
So round two.
Gosh,
How did
okay.
that start?
Round
take
two,
this one.
actually, I came back because I had made the decision in the first round to be like, oh, I can't handle it anymore, when I could have just had a thought process, and I could have just went to her and be like, I'm really struggling in this area and that. But again, the whole emotions type of deal, like
He
keep
did
it to
not know.
myself. Let
He
me
did
just
not
deal with it
know
on
how
myself.
to-
And it kind of blew up in my face really bad. But honestly, I'm really thankful for that month. I think we both are, because we
grew a lot.
we grew a lot individually, and then when we got together as well as together. But I came back and I was like, hey, listen.
He came back like Jiki Smooth.
I was about to say,
Nah,
he put
listen.
on his
I'm about to say he had to change. Did your voice
just
just change?
I was like,
Hey,
girl.
listen.
I was like,
I was like, oh.
Come
because
meet
we
me at
were
the Waffle House.
Because honestly, it was really difficult too. Because again, while we were together, we were doing so much in the church together. So
He
after
still
the
had
fact
to actually
that
see me. And
we still had to see each other, and
mind
again
you,
put
I'd
on
be in
this
church and I would
facade
not
that
speak to,
Oh, you wouldn't speak
he
to
would
him?
smile in my face, and he tried to hug me once, and I was like, "Excuse me."
Were you guys leading worship together
at
too?
the time
yes.
she had just gotten on the worship team. We were doing it was in the middle of Vacation Bible School actually,
I could only imagine
Wow.
sound check.
and no, sound check. Hey everybody, Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
But it was never a bashing session in front of everyone where it was like, "I'm not gonna worship with
like
you.
choose sides,
I
yeah.
know who you really are. You're fit." No, it was never that.
Yeah.
It was just, I'm just gonna stay on my corner.
Yeah.
You stay on yours.
And again, I think
we
that
don't
was
have a
maturity on
problem.
our part. It was
That
kind of
was-
like,
because
let's just
Old
Get through
AJ,
this.
Yeah, let's just get
old
through
AJ
this.
would have walked up in that joint and been like, "This,
Yeah.
get him out of here, get him out. I'm not gonna see him." Like,
Nah, get up out of here. I'm not gonna see him.
So, do you think with a relationship in church, do you classify doing ministry together on certain evenings as a date?
no.
No.
When you're talking about dating while
Absolutely
saved, do
not.
church outings for you guys count as
If
time
I-
spent?
If we are the ones being fed, yes. If we go to the church just to worship, yes.
But to serve, no.
I personally love going to church because I'm not on the adult worship team. So I personally love going to church on Sundays and just watching him do his thing. And then he'll come sit with me and we'll spend the rest of Sunday together. But when it comes to actually, one of my favorite things to do with him is to minister to others, but I would not classify that as a date because as great as ministering together is, it can be draining. And
Definitely.
it's also a perception put on you two where you guys are in the church and da-da-da-da. So, like, I genuinely, every time I want to post something, I have to think, who's looking?
Yeah.
If anything I want to post about us, who's looking? Because anything can be misinterpreted.
Yeah.
And so,
Yes.
The time you
To
posted
the max.
yes. And so it's like,
is real.
I've had some run-ins.
so like ministering together, it's essential for the connection that you as a spirit have in a sense. Like ministering together, we're like one accord. It's weird because we're not married, but we're one accord. I want this song, he wants the same song. All right. But I would not classify it as a date simply because of the kind of strain that it can put on a relationship.
Yeah, and when you're ministering together, the focus is not on
It's
the
not
two
us.
of you.
It's
It's
not.
on
Yeah.
somebody else. So
Right.
And I feel like
yeah.
the first half, that is something that we confused with quality time. Like when I tell you that for a good amount of months, the only time I saw him was at church because we were at church almost every every day.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious. But but like we really confuse that with quality time.
Yeah.
And quality time and being together are two different things.
Yeah.
Quality time is just something you do for each other, you know,
Yeah.
rather than
Yeah.
Do you
something
guys?
for everyone else.
Oh, that's this question. Do you guys ever run into the issue of people classifying you together in ministry as like you're a package deal?
Yes.
Instead of your separate giftings?
I would say yes, and at least on my part, no, because there's been plenty of times. Even in the beginning, I had to beg her to get on the team because for a minute that was not where her spirit
I
was.
was not with
Her
the
spirit
Lord
was not
when we
resonated
met.
there,
Yeah.
and she was like,
The
"I'm
Lord
not.
was not
This
my
not for
friend
me.
when
you
me and
you
homeboy
can
got
do
together.
it. That's fine.
He had
you
to
can
beg
do your
me
thing.
to go on the retreats.
I'll do something else, you know." And I never found any fault in that or anything like that. But at least for me, because that's kind of how it started off, and it just kind of went. Because there's been like I was an actor in the Easter play, and she did dance, and people were never like, "Why aren't you acting with him? Why aren't you doing this?" Because
yeah.
it
But
was
we
just
did
we
this
like
year
different things.
when the Easter
Yeah.
play did start, and I was like, I want no parts right now. They would come up to me and be like, "Where's AJ?" Like as if I'm supposed to be.
Like if one's not a part, something's wrong.
Yeah, and I think they did that because of the month we did break up, and everybody was like, wow, because nobody ever thought we were going to break up because we never really showed.
So, and that's another thing. How do you guys deal with I hate this hashtag relationship goals. That kind of standard that people put on you in ministry, because I don't know if it's heightened in ministry than it is in normal just world, but it seems like in ministry with relationships that are birthed inside of ministry, that the standard is set so high. It's like I can never see you guys mad at each other. You can't do anything, that type of thing. Did you guys experience that?
I will have to agree with that. Yes, frequently, because that's where the whole, well, Nate's here, where are you? Or AJ's here, where's Nate? Again, our relationship was public. That's front of
one of our biggest downfalls.
In front of everybody, and I felt like there were standards. Like, even if there are times like we're both chilling, not all the time we have to be next to each other, talking to each other. Be like, I made like this kind of rule type of deal. Not like really rule, but like when we're in church, it's not like it's no longer a relationship type. You know what I'm trying to say? Like it's ministry. That's what we're here to do. Like for us to be together like that. All the time. In a non-ministry way, it's
you don't want it to be cheesy.
Yeah, it's not needed.
And I can't have. One thing about our relationship is if Nate sees a girl who he feels is like going through it in youth group, he'll come up to me like, "Hey AJ, she's going like." So I can't have that one-on-one with the girl in order for her to feel safe with me if Nate's hovering over my neck, like.
Right.
Yeah. And he the same way he can't talk to another male when it's like, but we have dealt with like what people in the church felt on our relationship. Like when we did get back together, there were so many mixed
emotions.
Yes. And so like at first I didn't even want to tell anyone because I've had traumatic relationships. Like before Nate, I've had traumatic relationships, so like you always never want to be looking stupid. So I was like, we can talk, but like
don't tell nobody.
Right, like for now
keep
we're
it
friends.
We're
friends,
right.
And I was fine with that.
But everybody started getting suspicious because for a month we went from not looking to each other to in each other's face. So everybody
wasn't as slick as we thought we was.
No.
Gotcha.
We was not slick at all.
And I would have given us the detective badges too, because I thought we was on it.
He thought we was just sneaking around.
When we get in the church,
until
look
I told
through
him,
that door.
Yeah, for real. And we get in the car later. We did it, right? Yeah, we did it. Boom. It was not like that at all.
Until one day I came to him, I was like,
they finding us out.
Slick. Like,
no, everyone knows.
They know. And so we had our moments where opinions played a big part, especially with me, because I never wanted to be looking stupid again. Like I did not feel like that was meant to be for me, So going back, it was a lot of mental arguments with myself that really could have been like me and Nate would not be here right now.
A lot of talk from the outside world, just whispers.
And we had to have a lot of conversations with each other. And I had to learn how to trust. Like, I had to learn how to really get my life together.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
So because I heard you say this earlier, people's opinions and statements that they were saying to you guys about your relationship and everyone not feeling the same way from friends and older people.
Yeah.
How does that, play a role now and today? Because I remember you said something earlier in the first phase, the first MCU phase of y'all's relationship.
First phase.
But in this current state of what you guys are, going through in a relationship, does it play a part?
I feel that at least on our parts, because we've been through it and we've talked. One thing that we really did was set up boundaries in a sense, because we have to realize: are we going to listen to each other who are actually in the relationship? Or are we going to listen to other people and what the world has to say? Yeah. Because if that was the case, a lot of things would not survive. A lot of things would not survive. Absolutely. So I just know for us, or me personally, we set up boundaries and we really just, what is the focus of this relationship? What is the overall goal? Like, what do we need to do individually as well as together to really build each other up instead of staying the same? Because if you're stagnant, why are you in a relationship? The whole point is to continuously build each other up and make the other person greater. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
One thing I would say was in the first half, we did not set good boundaries when it came to like other people in our relationship and what part they would play. Because what most people, everybody has something to say about anything and everything, whether it's a relationship, a TV show,
What you wear?
Like it's
Boy,
always.
why you got them shoes on?
I ain't got no socks with them shoes on.
She came for my ankles at church Sunday morning. Bruh, never again.
But like,
Never again. She was in the back. She said, "Now, excuse me, why he ain't got no socks on with them shoes? His
He's out here with
ankles is
loafers?
out." No,
Yeah, the
man, I
loafers
was
on?
out with the nice point shoes. Look, I know how to
Oh, you
dress,
had no
guys.
socks on.
Yeah, I didn't have no socks on. It was
your ankles
summertime.
out?
It was hot. Had
You
the
had your
ankles
high
out.
waters on?
I had the high waters. The ankles was lotion though, so I don't see what the issue was.
You was out
And
here
then the
with-
first lady, she
with-
was
with
like,
the
"Don't
fog-
be coming for him like that."
with the foggy feet.
She came back. She
Took
came
shoes
back. I
off
will have
and-
to say.
but
He was ready for the flood.
yeah, he was ready.
All right.
He was
Coming
ready.
for my neck.
He was ready.
Coming for my neck.
But there's one thing with constructive criticism, people giving advice, but when it comes to your friends, I'ma just put it this way. You don't want to take advice from someone who has never gone to college about how to pass your college classes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so when it comes to your relationship, a godly relationship, a relationship that is like basically your own relationship, because I don't want a relationship like what you see on social media, but I don't exactly want a relationship like the perfect ideal. There is no perfect ideal. So when it comes to like everyone's opinions, you just basically have to set the boundary of what you want your relationship to look like, how you're gonna get there, because you can't set a goal and not make steps to the goal.
Right.
Absolutely.
And then you just gotta follow through, because if you let everybody else's little banters and picky patterns, all of a sudden you're gonna look up one day and realize you're the most unhappy person there is because you listened to what everyone else had to say.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So, you guys have any questions for us?
Yes.
What you
I
got?
do. So
Like he about to pull out a
you guys,
Rolodex.
what was
I know.
what
Question
was
A1.
the hardest thing that you guys like together had to deal with as a saved relationship? Because it's not easy compared to worldly relationships and dating while you're saved. It's not.
You want to answer this
Well,
one?
It's not easy.
Did you guys start saved? Did your relationship
Nah.
start saved?
We was saved, but we weren't doing saved things.
Nope. Ring a ding ding.
Okay. wait. Okay, so
Monty boy. Yeah.
when we first met, he was working as an engineer in the studio, and I was working on my demo, and that's how we met, because I went to the studio to scope it out and everything, and
Yeah, it didn't start.
yeah, it did. No, it did. It wasn't saved at all. My goal, I wasn't working on a Christian.
People was
Demo
scoping out
at
different.
all.
I wasn't working on no Christian music
Was
at
you
all.
scoping
I was
out-
in my
No,
prodigal
was
season.
Was you scoping out the studio or scoping out the man?
Oh no, she
I
was
was-
scoping out studio. She
Oh,
didn't want
I
nothing
was
to do with
scoping
me.
out the studio.
I
I
was
really
chasing her
didn't.
down.
I really didn't, because
stood
I
me
had
up.
just got out of a bad situation. And so after that last situation, my whole mindset was, I'm done with guys, I'm done with distractions. I'm working to save my money, and I'm working on my demo to get out of Virginia. Here we are, I'm still here.
Well,
But that was my mindset. So I went to the studio, and they were having a studio party to get, basically as a marketing tactic to get,
yeah.
People in there. And I went with my sisters and my brother and everything. And afterwards, he was like, you want to come back and do some writing? And I'm like, sure, if it's just going to be writing, like just
So
like
let's just
that.
put that out there right now.
Yeah, like if we just gonna be writing, I'm good. I will be back. But because I had already got that vibe, every
Wow.
time he would hit me up and be like, "Can you come through?" And I worked at Hendrick Honda.
right across
The
the street.
studio was literally right across the street on Route 1. Yes, so
It was good intentions though.
yeah, he did have good
was a
intentions, but
gentleman.
because of the mindset that I was in and the state that I was in, I just didn't want any part.
You didn't
Yeah.
want the part.
Yeah, I didn't
I
want
just
any
want to say,
part.
a self-claimed gentleman is never a gentleman.
No, I mean when I say a gentleman, I actually wanted to write. I wasn't trying to get her over there like to
You wasn't
to
trying to get
finagle.
over there.
Yeah,
Not
it was
to
a,
finagle.
it was a
I
legit
cannot,
trying to
bro.
have a writing session.
Look, he's like, y'all coming for my neck. I was just trying to write with a pencil
I
and
was
some
trying to
paper.
write.
Y'all just coming at me.
But
No,
yeah,
because when I finally did go right, he's like, "You want to go get something to eat? You want to go grab something to eat?" No, I'm good.
You
Like-
said, here we go.
Yeah, yes, because okay, I'm not new to this. Like I've been singing my whole life. You know, I recorded since I was 12, you know, and in college, every studio situation is predominantly run by men.
Yeah.
So I was always in the studio with all these guys, and we can never stay focused on getting the work done because y'all want to get distracted. Oh, you need a man? No, I don't need a man. I need to work on this music. Like, so that's the mindset I was in. And yeah, I mean, I friend zoned him pretty much.
Hard.
Zoned.
Felt that.
Like stood me up like 5 times.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I'm mad you remember the
Sometimes-
specific
Sorry,
number. I don't think it was
Sometimes
5.
you gotta do that though.
Yeah.
Gotta
I mean,
get
it
your
worked
point
out.
across. Gotta get your
Yeah,
But
well,
yeah.
obviously.
But back to your question, it did not.
Yeah,
It
no.
it wasn't.
No,
Yeah,
it was
no.
not saved.
No.
We I literally went out on a date with him just to shut him up because I was like, he's not going to stop asking. You know, if we're going to continue to work together, because the fact was when we worked,
Oh, yeah,
like
a lot
we were
done.
knocking out like songs, like writing a song and recording it all in like one session. So we worked well together. Like he was cool, like down to earth. We could talk about stuff, everything,
Still
and
in
then we
the
still
friend
got
zone.
work done.
Dang.
But I was just not looking for a relationship.
No.
And he kept asking. So I was like, this guy is persistent. If I don't say yes, he's never going to stop asking. So I'm going to just say yes, you know, just to shut him up. And then we went out on a date, and it was the best date I had ever been on. It didn't even feel like a date. It was just like 2 people getting together, sitting down, having a meal, but we were talking about everything and nothing was off limits. And I was like, this was like really weird. Like really weird. And we've been inseparable ever since. But no, we did not
Yeah.
remain
Abide by to the
safe.
Christian laws.
No, we didn't.
No, no,
That's
no.
fine.
We didn't.
That's fine. You know.
But that's why we do talk about it. You
Yeah,
know, we're open
yeah.
about it because since we're serving in ministry together now, so many people just assume, you know,
Yeah, it
that
was perfect.
that it was perfect, that we
Ain't nothing
courted.
perfect. Let's just put that
you
out.
know,
The thing
Ain't
is, it's
nothing
always
perfect.
the fact that you know better, but you won't do better. So it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
you know, it's
And I
just-
feel like that was one of the biggest struggles. Like we ended up moving in together before we got married. Yep.
Yeah.
So that's
We
why.
shacked.
Oh yeah, we shacked.
as the grandmas in the church
Yeah,
would
as
call.
the grandmas
Oh,
said,
them
we
babies are shacking up.
Not shacking
But yeah,
up.
so and that's why like having this conversation with you guys is so important because a lot of people don't talk about that side. of
No,
things.
absolutely
They,
not.
They don't go into that conversation of, hey, this is what seems to be a good answer to, you know, what you feel is a problem, because I know you guys deal with it, that sexual tension as well.
Yeah.
Of even though it's a saved relationship,
It's still there.
there's still tension.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
The
And-
devil tempted Jesus. You
Yeah,
think he ain't gonna
yeah,
tempt
yeah.
you? Like,
What's your name? Nate, you finna catch this work, my brother. You know,
And he's not slacking. He's not slacking at all. Dishing it. I just be like,
we just be like, you gotta have Captain America's shield for that. Whoop, whoop,
And honestly, at least for us in the first half, there was a lot of that lust and tension there, because in the first half it was nothing, like barely a kiss, because it again
because
a
we had
relationship
people
was in the church.
watching us.
Oh, like Hawks.
Like when
Right,
I
like
tell you
Hulk.
when
So we
we
were like,
walked
no,
into
no,
the
no,
church,
no.
I always felt like it was like every head on one accord. Whoosh.
Give me a side
Wow.
hug. Give me
Yeah.
a side hug.
So
You know
like,
the side hug.
and it played with me because when we first met, I was not holy. Like my mind thought was not. Mind you, I was a virgin simply because I was scared of my mother, not because I was
trying to do it for the Lord.
I was scared my mother was going to murder me.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like I had every option.
Yeah.
But my mother had instilled the fear of God in my behind.
God.
So when we first met, it was like all my other relationships, that's all they wanted from me. And that's why they never worked, because I wouldn't send the pictures. I wouldn't, you know, also because I have morals. It just so happens
That's a
that
cuss
the rest,
word nowadays. What do you
it,
mean?
the-
Sidebar.
it just so happens that the rest of my generation does not have morals like I do.
Yeah.
No.
But my morals tended to get my heart broken.
Mm-hmm.
So one thing that also really like I really didn't want any parts to begin with was because I was like, he's probably just gonna. Also, Nate had, I don't know if y'all know this, but Nate had a massive glow up. And I mean, like, the first time I saw him after his glow up, I was like, whoo.
Insert picture here.
like,
You had a glow up?
Now it was a little rough.
I was in and out of church.
Really
I was
rough.
in and out of church from 6th grade to 11th grade. So when I
was
tell you that,
really
I would
rough.
go to church, leave for 2 years, come back. The first time I went to church, Nate, I was like, oh. And then, like,
It was that dramatic of a
yeah, it was bad.
Nah,
It was
she's
bad.
being mean, nah, bro.
And then I came back like 2 years later, and I was like, oh, okay. But we still wouldn't talk to him because we still had the same friend group. So I was like, stay over there. I'm gonna stay right here. And then I came back 2 years later after that, and I was like,
You said
Who
who
he
that there is.
Who that there
and then I was
is?
talking to my friend. I said, who is that?
Oh nah, bro.
I forgot to tell you this story. I told my friend, and he was like, that's Nate. I was like, that's who? He said, that's Nate. I said, Nate who? Like I was like, that
I
ain't the
never heard
same
this.
Nate. And so I was like, oh, okay. All right. I'll be back. Like
Her attendance to church has never
Not
stopped.
back for the word, not
I'll
back for the
be
music.
back.
I'll be back for him.
I'll be back. But then I left for another 2 years because I started going through it. And it just seems as though when you start going through it, God is not where you want to be because he just does not seem to be working on your side. And so I was like, I'm done with this church mess. And it was when we became friends. I had posted something on my story, and we were still friends. I posted something on my story on Instagram, and it was Pastor Mike in some hazmat suit. Ironic because of the time we have right now, but it was 2 years. It was like 2 years ago. And so it was Pastor Mike in a hazmat suit, and I was like, "Oh man, I miss youth." Because when you look back, youth group was it was so. Once you got there, it was fun. Like your parents might have had to drag you by your neck out the house, but once you got there, it was fun. And he slides up, and he was like, "So come to church," like he was like, "So what's the issue?"
Yeah.
And I just got out of a really bad relationship with somebody in the church, and that was why I left. I was like, I want no parts. Like, like, how are you going to be in the church?
Yeah.
And do me the way you did,
Yeah.
And so he was like,
Oh no.
and I was like, and he goes, don't let one person be the reason you stop coming to church altogether. And I got defensive.
Come on,
I was lucky. I was
Look,
he was right.
Little Pastor Nate. Little Pastor Nate.
Right. Anyway. So
She got defensive. She got.
I did.
She got
I got
angry.
defensive, even though he was somewhat right. I did get defensive, and I was like, I just been busy. I work and I play AAU basketball. I just don't have time to go to church right now. But I best believe I'm getting my Jesus in. No, I wasn't. But
Let me load up this YouTube and listen to Tasha Clives real quick.
No, I was not. So I ended up going to church, and that's how he got me in the church. We weren't even together. Like,
That's dope.
Wow.
but he just got me in the church, and then he gonna take me. Then he gonna take me to the worship practice. I didn't even know where I was going. He gonna take me to the worship leading practice, and he was like, "She can sing, y'all." Just gonna throw me on the team. got everybody looking at him because they know I'm inconsistent. Like,
Like, why would you bring her?
why? She ain't
But
gonna be here next month.
We was inconsistent. Sidebar. I just was like, let's just do it. And
Yeah.
look.
Look where we are.
So I want to close out with this question. So since you are making the attempt to have a relationship while being saved and doing it right in holiness, what are some things you all do to keep the spark up, even when you guys are having that type of tension, to where it's like, what else can we do? We've gone to all the movies we can. We've gone to the mall enough times. You know, those kind of things. What is it that you guys do to keep the relationship moving forward without jumping into the bed?
Yes. First, I
Yeah.
would like to say that for any
Motivate Unplugged, we get right to
First,
it.
I would like to say for any relationship, it is very important that you continue to make your girl feel like you want her. So even after you get her, still chase her, because the prize is not getting her; the prize is keeping her.
Come on.
It's one thing that I will say in the first half, no, because you know what you did, like no shade towards you,
No shade.
but like he stopped chasing me, and I was like, okay, like okay, what I'm supposed to do now? And I'm not gonna lie, I told him I was like, I'm bored, like. What am I gonna? I'm bored. You don't come to my house. You don't see me. Like, I see you in church every day. So I'm bored. And before that, he had gone out of his way. I mean, like would come pick me up in the mornings for school, like, and I live in Triangle, he lives in Woodbridge, or like it would be like, and then it just kind of
fizzled out,
died.
Gotcha.
And so
You got
I would feel like yeah,
Oh, got real comfortable.
too comfortable.
Too comfortable.
So like I feel like that is and also vice versa on both parts. Like, don't let him carry all the weight. But I would also say both of you need to give 100%, not just 50. Because I understand that not every day you can give 100, because sometimes it is just hard. Like, sometimes you cannot. And so like, but
You said
I know.
child, listen.
like sometimes I do need to pick up the weight. Sometimes he does need to pick up the weight, but it should not be 95% of the time one person is picking up the weight.
Yeah.
So where do you see this going? What is like?
The
I know you
overall
guys
goal?
get asked this like all
Yeah.
the time. Like, is this
we're getting
just?
he's not allowed to leave.
Oh,
I told you yesterday. She said she gonna kill me. she
This is a
said
cry
I
for
will
help.
kill you. But on a
Because
serious
he keeps
note,
playing with me like I won't jack him up in the middle of. I don't care where we at.
let's just
You
get a
gonna
witness
hear.
all around right here on the
You gonna hear
microphones.
me.
If I end
Nate.
up missing one day, just know.
I ain't do it.
But
That's okay, Nate. Don't worry. Listen, my brother, my brother will ask Marcus all the time, bro, are you okay? Like,
is she beating you?
is she beating
is she
you?
beating you?
Yeah, I'm like, I ain't even do nothing. Anyways.
Sometimes they need it.
Oh,
Oh, okay. Ike.
this has been another episode. From
Wait a minute, Ike.
Okay,
Oh,
are you
my.
okay?
Nah, saying nah.
as we get ready to wrap this up, if you're saying that's the long haul, is it right?
Yeah.
So, what are you gonna do with the challenges of you? Like you said, you're going to college, right? So
Yeah.
you're gonna be going. Where are you going?
ODU.
And you're here, right? Local.
Yes. Yeah.
So now is the conversation gonna flip, because you said you were worried about him going to school to Lynchburg, and how is that gonna work?
We actually did have that conversation, and I was like, honestly, I'm exactly where you are. Like, I'm scared. Like, some homeboys just going, let me pick up them books for you, baby. And I'm just gonna be sitting over here like this.
I just wanna PS. Everything in his head plays out like a movie or a cartoon. Like, that is how his
Don't
thought
put me out
process
there like
works. And so
She tripped. Somebody catch him in her.
Literally.
When he told me this,
Where's your
y'all
dorm
should have
at?
seen
Where's
my
your
face. I
dorm
was
at?
like,
Let me take you there.
what
But
is wrong with you? Like,
and I already had this talk with her and everything like that. Again, it's just about growth and where you're at, and like really placing God in the center of it. And if you really have that faith in God and like knowing that
That's
she's
the
here for a
one.
reason, or like that's the woman that you want, why are you gonna let the world get on you like that? And
Yeah.
plus, honestly, she 2 hours away. I drive. I will whip that in a heartbeat. Let's just put that out there. Weekend visits.
Hello.
I'm gonna come to my dorm. He gonna be like, "Hey."
Yeah.
But
Trying to surprise you.
but yeah, so in
I
the
got a
beginning, the
text.
fear was there because the faith wasn't there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
gotcha.
The fear was there because the faith wasn't there.
Yeah.
And I can honestly say now, I could care less if she was going to California State or something like that. I know that I got her and she got me, so that's really all we need, other than Jesus, of course.
Oh, law.
Huh.
Together,
Oh, Lordy.
we have been through entirely like a lot together. I mean, like, just like the amount of stuff that we've had to not only combat together, but like the stuff that we went through alone and had to help pull. Like, just the other day, I was just going through an episode because like my senior year got canceled. I just got a whole lot going on, and I've always battled depression. So like he sometimes has to pull me out, and sometimes I gotta pull him out. So one thing I will say is there are seasons, and people are there in seasons for a reason, and I believe that marriage is there, but I also do believe that if it is for me, it is for me.
Yeah.
And if it is not, then it is not. And I do believe that, hey, if God calls us together, God calls us together, you know.
Yeah.
I don't see myself with anyone else anytime soon. So I'm wherever the Lord takes me.
And my heart's right
But
there too.
I love this whole conversation because, like you said, everybody looks at that puppy love, even when you're graduating college. It's
Yeah.
like, graduating high school. It's like, well, you have your whole life ahead of you. Why would you
Exactly,
settle down, so
exactly.
young? But not,
I think it's a beauty in it because I'm graduating, and let's say he is the love of my life. I'm just gonna speak that into existence. Let's say we get married.
Mm-hmm.
I would much rather spend the rest of whatever the time God gave me with my best friend, because that's basically who he is,
Yeah.
than by myself thinking the party is where it's at.
Yeah.
Just for me to die lonely and desperate.
Yeah, but and that's beautiful, like you said, the beauty in it, because unless we take the time, to actually talk and see where your heads are at a young age, because you're both very mature. For your age, and to say the things that you're saying about your relationship and wanting to remain in a godly relationship is powerful. But if we don't sit down and have the conversations, people will just automatically assume, oh, it's not going to work out because of preconceived notions or what they've seen in the
they
past.
got to be having sex, so that's why I need to break.
Honestly,
half of how many people ask me.
Guys, seriously, if you are in like a Christian relationship and you're just completely depending on each other, that's fine. But make sure you find other godly couples that you can lean on, because the temptation is going to be there. And if you both are that or in that time of your life, the hormones are in the air, people. Hormones are in the air. Summertime's coming up. If you
might be quarantined.
Yeah, right. You might be quarantined. Netflix and chilling. If that backbone is not there, then you don't want to set yourself up.
You have to have those fail safes.
Right, exactly.
Hey, why am I here at this time when I know that this is a potential fall?
It's 3:00 in the morning.
Yeah, like go
what
home.
You want.
Like, but always, and we talked about it in the sex episodes that we did a few weeks ago. Of don't ever get so comfortable in the relationship to where you think that you can't succumb to the fall.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's just, hey, the same deadlines and things that we set, the curfews for ourselves, and those same stipulations that we had when we first started, because we didn't know how hot and bothered we make. You gotta reiterate those things.
But it's just like when you go out on a first date and it's like you're talking to your girlfriends and it's like, if this date doesn't go good, like I need you to text me or call me by this time.
Yeah.
Keep that same energy.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Keep that same energy.
If you know I'm with him, call me at 11:30 so I can leave by 12. Like, get me out.
Yeah. But I feel like having these conversations between a married couple who did not do things the right way,
right,
and who are standing by faith saying, hey, we survived,
right,
and look where we are now. Not perfect, but God's still blessing this. I just want you guys to be encouraged by what God can do with you all.
Absolutely.
Of making the decision to stay, holy, to stay in a faithful relationship.
As we said, it has not been easy. That we've had falls, arguments, lusting issues, but like, look today, like it's not hard. You can make it through.
I think this conversation was important because even on the opposite side of whether you start pure or not, like, you guys are a walking picture of grace, because you guys did not start the way you guys probably should have, and you guys didn't start the way you guys are going to end.
Right.
So it's beautiful to watch you guys as a walking proof of grace, because I know relationships that have not, but they have the connection. Does that make sense? They haven't started, and they think, well, we didn't start right, so I should just end it.
That's what I was about to say.
Like, I should
a lot
just,
of people just throw it away because
it's not God, and not understanding that God gives new mercies every day.
Yeah,
every day. So.
But that's not a.
But it's not a scapegoat. It's not a scapegoat. Do not be like, I'll just repent after this one last time, and I'm gonna do it again.
That the last sentence.
After round 3, it's over. I promise.
Don't work like that.
Don't do that.
But for the person who is dealing with,
but for the person who feels like they don't have the option, you have the option.
You get a new 24 hours every day.
Exactly.
And that could be the day that you decide. Like for us, we decided this doesn't work for us. We can't keep doing this. So for the person who's watching, who's experiencing either side of this conversation, we just want to encourage you and let you know that you still have time to either get it together, and you also have time still to enjoy life while living holy.
Exactly.
You don't have to miss out on anything. There's not anything on the outside of the world that you feel like you have to experience to say that you're human.
Right.
You can still have a great time while
done that.
living in holiness, and you
Yeah.
can find someone who loves you. So if you have any more questions for us and you would like us to have this conversation again, go ahead and hit subscribe at the bottom of the page. Make sure you leave a comment if you have any questions and any other suggestions for topics. Once again, this is MOTIV8 UNPLUGGED, and we pray that you experience the difference. All right, y'all.
Word out.
Peace.
Bye.
Hey.